You know, it's like you could like just a box full of hamsters and throw it at him, and he's like, ah, hamsters, ah, like that's what it feels like.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Cloud.
And this is We Watch Spookies.
Today's movie is A Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street is a 1984 horror slasher film directed by Wes Craven, starring John Saxon, Ronnie Blakely, Heather Langenkamp, Amanda Weiss, Nick Corey, Johnny Depp, and Robert Englund. Total plot synopsis.
A couple of high school kids start having these nightmares where they're dreaming somebody's after them, and then after it becomes a problem, they start to realize that it's the same person in all their dreams. And one by one, they're all killed off until there's only one teenage girl left. And between her father, who's a police officer who doesn't seem to be any help, and her almost deranged alcoholic mother, she takes the fight to Freddy. Or does she? Because you can't tell if it's a dream or not.
Well, there had been, at least most of the time, a tell as to whether things were likely to be a dream or not, and that there tended to be fog when there otherwise shouldn't be. Or when maybe there should be, but even when there should be, when it wasn't a dream, there wasn't. So like when we see real life night, it's mostly like clear air, but then when it's a dream, then there tends to be fog or like mist low to the ground or something.
Yeah, but see, there's not enough consistency, and so there are times where they have it where it is night, and you couldn't tell via that rule. Like whenever she goes to bed and she has Johnny like look after her, but he passes out too. You know, when she's walking out, like there's no fog or mist or anything. And so it almost feels
No, but there
like,
is when she gets to the jail.
Well, like the only thing that really looks weird is how she sees the jail. It's like there's how close is her house to the actual police station, is it?
Well,
I don't know. It feels like it's like right around the corner.
Well, but that's how stuff works in dreams though, because like
Exactly.
distance and placement of actual things doesn't really matter. It's just you sort of move from place to place and don't really realize how you got there. So her walking as far as she seems to have is unusual for being in a dream.
Yeah. And like if you weren't paying attention, like that's what I caught on. It's like, wow, like you just walked like a few feet and now you're already turning a corner, and that corner looks like you're in town, not in the suburbs.
That whole sequence is weird anyway, because it almost seems like they pre-invented Inception, but then it can't be because he's not supposed to be asleep.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they both go to sleep and then they're sharing the dream somehow, because she calls out to him and he pops out from behind a bush and he's there. He's actually there. And I don't know if that's supposed to be her brain manifesting an image of him because he's talking to her while she's asleep and he's still awake. That seems really advanced.
Well, she doesn't say anything about, I'm going to bed, stay, watch over me. It's not, she's like, I need you to do something really important.
Yeah, well, they don't come right out and say it, but she says,
No.
I'm going to, what does she say? I'm going to go look for someone.
Yeah.
And she means Freddy.
Yes.
And Freddy only exists in dreams.
Well, like at this point in time, Johnny of the Deep doesn't really believe the whole Freddy is attacking people.
But she does.
She does.
She's the one saying it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter
it's
what
like,
he thinks.
No, but that's what I'm saying is like that kind of leads up. So whenever she goes outside and then he's there, it's like it's trying to trick you into thinking she isn't asleep yet. And it's just
but
like,
she is.
But if you paid attention, it's kind of obvious. Now, I would say some of the issues with not being able to tell what's what are when Freddy does kind of seep through into moments where no one's asleep.
Well, not really when no one's asleep. Sometimes it's when they're just edging into sleep, or especially late when she's been awake for like 6 days or whatever, that I think she's so close to sleep all the time that like there's enough of like your brain is kind of like over here, it's kind of not totally operating anymore, so he can leak in, even though she's not, but only like a little bit. He can't full on attack her until she's actually asleep.
Yeah. But it's like with the stretching the wall of above the bed part.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's almost like he's trying to come out, like, because we know she's asleep. We can see her there asleep. But it's not like she's awake in her dream to be attacked as much as it is we are the ones awake looking at her asleep, and then he's coming out.
Well,
and
I
then
think she's
like,
asleep, but she's not dreaming yet.
And then she's like, then Freddy's like, oh, I'll just pick another one.
She's not deep enough asleep yet.
Yeah. But little bits and pieces, like the licking of the face, like, I'm your boyfriend now. I'm like, oh God. I've always been kind of afraid of like needles or things coming out of the phone into your ear. So a lot of times when I answer the phone, like, I won't hold it up directly to my ear. Like, I'll have it at an angle.
Well, that doesn't really make any sense.
No, but it's just like just seeing her hold the phone and you're just like trying to stick its tongue in her mouth. Like, Lord. You got to hold that phone like a ways. You can see the people who will like stick the bottom of the phone in their mouth to talk into it. Like, please stop doing that.
Yeah, they don't understand how microphones work.
That's unnecessary. I understand he was burned to death in a boiler room.
Yeah.
But like, that's a hell of a boiler room. It's like the entire building is just a big boiler room.
Well, that version of it is, because it's the dream version of it. It's not the actual place. Yeah, but it is kind of like the Terminator factory, from the first one, not like the melty, like steel mill one from 2.
Yeah.
There's just like pipes and machinery and tanks and steam and smoke and heat and stuff. Johnny Depp gets an and introducing credit, and it's actually for real, because it actually is introducing
Johnny Depp,
at least like a major way, which is who is it? Steven Soderbergh does this, where he'll put an and introducing credit on things for people who are obviously very famous and are not. This is not their first movie. Like Julia Roberts gets it in the first Ocean's movie, and he does it with someone in Logan Lucky. I think Daniel Craig maybe. And so he likes to do it as a joke, but
yeah,
it's not a joke. It's actually it's at least pretty close to for real.
Most of the notes that I have for this movie aren't so much like I don't want to say it's about the scene, but at the same time, it's like I've got like little bits and pieces. It's like I got a comment about like, oh yeah, screw your hall pass, and they say it like twice.
Yeah,
and
she only says it for real once though.
Yeah,
the other time is in the dream.
It's in the dream. Now Nancy's character kind of irritates me because sometimes she's just screaming constantly, and then there's times where it's like she seems calm and collected enough looking at her best friend who she knows is dead and is bleeding all over the place, and is just like, Nancy, I'm in a body bag at your school.
Yeah.
I'm being magically drug off. And she's like, oh, this is weird, but it's fine. I'm going to follow it around the corner and bump into somebody who wants my hall pass. Like, your hall pass straight up your ass. And then I don't really pay much attention to turning around, seeing like the knife glove on the lady's hand wearing the red and green sweater, and then the complete voice change.
Mm-hmm.
Or let me go down these steps and now I'm in a boiler room that is way too big to be underneath the school. But wait. now I'm going to start screaming constantly. Like at a point in time, you think she'd realize it's not doing her any good. Because then she goes through that whole, like, I got to protect the house, and I got to get Freddy, so I'm going to get, like, a survival and weapons combat book.
Yeah.
Because I'm into survival.
Improvised weapons.
Yeah. So, like, it's just a contradiction in character actions. Because at the start of it, I can understand she's freaking out because she doesn't know what's going on. But then as she builds up and you're like, oh yeah, she's ready, she's going for this, and then it's just scream, and then scream, and then scream. Like, please stop screaming. Please. Like, you're not benefiting the movie by screaming at something that's not even being scary at the moment. Now, when she sees him in the streets and he, like, cuts his fingers off, like, okay, I'll let you have that one. That's a bit messed up. But it's at the end of the movie, and you're, like, trying to, like, punch him. Why are you screaming? Just stop. You're going to run out of breath. And why can't Johnny just do as he's told? Listen. I need you to do something really important. Don't fall asleep. Okay. Like, seriously. If you're going to do this shit, just go home. What is this? You just kick his ass out. What was his name? Because Rod, was it Rod? That's the dude in the jacket who got hung in the jail.
Yeah.
Why didn't she tell her dad about Freddy Krueger?
Well, he seems not likely to believe very much.
Well, he's obviously not trying to lock her in the house like the mom.
Yeah.
You know, there's just little bits and pieces of just it's characters' reactions to situations that just make me go, what? Like, Dad, listen. Like, in 10 minutes, I need you over at the house.
Yeah, sure, hon.
Because I need you to get me out because Mom's locked me in. Okay. Hey, let me get this guy. Yeah, go stand over here and watch my house. My daughter's acting weird. And then whenever she does start doing stuff, he just kind of stands there like, it's going to be okay. Shut up, Rod! Get my dad! I ain't messing with you. Like, what? Huh. Adults.
Well, it is a really serious problem that it's, and I guess it's this sort of 80s movie kind of thing, except they're a little bit old for it to be that. Everyone who is not in high school is bad at everything.
Yes.
He's bad at being the police. And a dad. She's bad at being a mom. The teacher is okay, I guess, but she just kind of seems like really put upon, I guess, by having to deal with all these kids. She's okay, and she lets her go home on her own. But the other police guy is no good. Just they're all like, they don't listen to anything. They jump to major conclusions based on no evidence at all.
Well, other than the idea of Rod killing his girlfriend, like, that is a major jump to conclusion.
He was still in the room, though. Where's the weapon?
Yeah, but
and the window is open.
Nobody else has a conclusion. It's just, I don't know. I can't explain this. I ain't a magician.
Yeah.
Like, but you're a detective. Or you gotta be solving some crimes. Like, there's gotta be something here that you're working towards. And, okay, so your daughter was in a house with 3 other people, and one of her friends was murdered. Like, okay. My daughter is telling me that she doesn't think it's Rod because while they do argue, it's not in Rod's character to just go out and murder somebody. He would have done this before if that was the case. Because Rod is still Rod. Regardless of being a delinquent, that doesn't make you a murderer. All right, so let's think about this.
And he didn't run.
Yeah.
Until later.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't run at first. He just let the other one see him, and then he ran before the police got there, which I guess makes him look kind of guilty. But
yeah. Well, nobody really trusts the police. Like, if you say, I trust the police, but you slow down on the road when you see an officer on the side, that means you don't trust them. It's like the base concept, because you don't want to have to deal with them. That's just how it goes. And then, like, all of this stuff's going on. You're like, yeah, this is weird, Dad. I don't trust this. I saw some stuff in a dream, and I got this burn. Like, it's the same dream that Tina had before she was murdered. And so it's getting a bit weird. I just want you to kind of keep an eye on things. And then, like, oh yeah, Rod, he's sleeping like a baby. Just go in there and look. If I'm wrong,
yeah, they won't even look. There's no reason not to look.
Yeah, it's like, if I'm wrong, it just means you were doing your job anyways, like you're supposed to be doing. But if I'm right, then that means you're not doing your job. Because that's all that is. It's like you got somebody and you're not having any patrol. You're not having anybody watch over them. Like, it doesn't matter if they're supposed to be sleeping or not. You still got to keep an eye on these people. They're your responsibility.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, we're just going to leave them tucked in here. We don't know what they're doing. We're supposed to be the police. We don't know what they're doing. We're just going to let them sit in there. If they're in a cage, it doesn't matter. You know, somebody didn't slip something through one of the windows. Doesn't matter.
Uh-huh.
So we're not going to go check on him. But guess what? We're checking on him, and he's dead. You're welcome. All right, Dad.
They're dead.
2 people from the house are dead. Can you explain this? It's adults sucking at being anything.
Yeah. Hi, we're the adults. Will be no help.
Yeah. Hi, we're adults and police, and we will be no help in this movie. No, I wonder if hanging Rod was supposed to be like a pun, since like Rod was supposed to be the hornball from the start of the movie.
Maybe.
And he's just like, haha, he was hung. Zing.
I mean, we also find out later that the parents are actually like not really nice people, because they murdered a guy because they didn't like the way that also it's a little bit like it's not quite 911 hung up on them, but just someone forgot to sign a search warrant in the right place is kind of a bogus reason for the trial to go bad.
Yeah.
Because, for one thing, there's only one place to sign one, so if it existed at all, then it was fine. So that's dumb. If she had said, they didn't get a warrant or something, that would be better than they messed up the warrant.
I don't like. We have this giant boiler room / building. We have a warrant for the boiler room / building, but it didn't include the closet where they hid the body, so it doesn't count. Like, what? What is it? What do you mean?
I mean, something like that is potentially possible. There have been and are sometimes very specific and limited search warrants, depending on how much probable cause you have to try to get one issued. But
I would figure that if it says building, it would include all contents.
It tends to include the building, yeah.
Like, how do you mess this up?
Sometimes there are special exemptions.
So
the thing at the beginning that we get is real him, I guess, before he's killed, because we see him making his glove, and that actually exists because the mom has been keeping it in the furnace all these years. So unless he's making another one in the dream world because he doesn't have his anymore.
I would say it's at the beginning of it because we don't see his face, so
yeah, so we don't know if he's burned or not.
Yeah,
we don't really see his hands either.
You know, I was thinking about it because you made that comment. I know the mom says that Freddy can't get you because mommy killed Freddy.
Yeah.
But the way she states it is there was a lot of people.
Yeah.
Who like lit it on fire. So I want to know who all was actually involved.
Well, it seems to have been her and the dad and it seems to be the parents of the people that we're aware of. Yeah. Like the main group of friends. It's all of their parents.
Like the town.
Oh, yeah, the other parents are terrible, too.
Yeah.
They're just going to be like, we're going to ignore everything, and we're just going to take the phone off the hook because only she would be the person that would call with something important, potentially, and we're annoyed with that, so just no one gets to call tonight.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Super dumb.
The mom seems to be all right, but she seems like a pushover.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like,
which isn't any better.
No. But it's like Johnny kind of makes some jokes, and it's like, haha, that's funny. You should probably be going to bed. It's almost midnight. And the dad's just a cunt. I don't like her. She's weird. You know, it's not like she's out like snorting cocaine
No.
and like trying to sneak cocaine into the house.
And it's the
Like-
80s. They
like-
could be.
Like, listen.
And they aren't.
Just because she's a little weird doesn't mean there's anything wrong with her or him or however any of these people play out. Like kids are weird to begin with. So when you as an adult say that kid is weird, shut up. You didn't add anything. Now you're just an annoyance. Like, kids are already weird because they're kids. And of course they're not going to be like you when you were a kid, because who knows how many years it's been. Just stop. I don't want her hanging out with my son.
Well, your son is like 16, so
Yeah.
you have
How are you going to stop him, mate?
limited say left at this point, and for a limited time at least. Which tends to be when parents tend to, I'm exerting my authority as your parent by doing whatever the heck I want to stop you from doing whatever you want anyway. Kind of like the last period of time you have any control, they tend to exert all of it. And in so doing, push their children away from them.
Like, I don't have so much of a problem controlling your kids from doing stupid things that like my kids are stupid. I know they're stupid because they like to do things that could be hazardous in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So if I have to put my foot down as a parent, because you don't always have to be your child's best friend, you can actually be their parent. Moderation is good, and once you hit that age, explaining things normally gets you your way faster. But why, Mom? Just explain it.
Well,
And it
really,
doesn't-
from
Yeah.
any age where you can have a reasonable conversation with the kids, which is much earlier than teenagers, why is always better than because I said. Because it's your job to teach them how to be a person, and because I said doesn't teach them anything. And if they know why, then it won't just be, well, I don't care because you said, and then they do something dumb anyway.
Then you
If
get
they
that
know
ass
why
beat.
it's dumb, then maybe they won't.
Her coffee stash. How do you miss that? It's a functioning coffee pot. It's already plugged in and running.
Coffee pot.
How did you not catch that? It's because she's drunk.
Yeah, all the time.
I think I'll get smashed and hit the sauce with you, Mom.
Now, if we were,
Whack!
if we were, I do like the moment where the mom has the cup of gin that's like the coffee cup of gin that I'm pretty sure does not contain any coffee. It just contains, I hope it doesn't, because coffee and gin sounds bad.
Yeah.
Like coffee and bourbon, coffee and brandy, maybe coffee and rum. That's fine. Gin? No. No.
Please don't.
Don't put gin in your coffee.
No.
No. Vodka? Probably, because it doesn't really affect the taste that much. Although then you're trying to just drink at that point. That's what you're doing. I must have this coffee also contain alcohol. You might have a problem if you're putting vodka in the coffee. Have a look at yourself. But so the mom is holding it. And she comes up and she's about to go to school and she kind of just takes it from her and goes to take a drink. And the mom doesn't say anything, but just sort of like eases it back away from her just before she gets it tilted enough to actually drink.
I know.
Which she can smell the gin
Yeah.
as close as she was, so she knows. But I don't think she's
Awake enough.
Well, no. Well, I don't know. I think mom drinks continuously is not unknown to her at this point. I do wonder, I really don't believe that her and police dad are actually married, because they don't seem to have any kind of relationship we ever see.
No, I almost think they are separated.
Maybe.
Because the entire time that we are at the house, he is never at the house.
He's never at the house. Who's she hiding the gin in the linen closet from then?
Probably the kid.
But it's like full in the open in the kitchen all the time. She kind of stands in front of it one time, but then she walks away from it and is not hiding it anymore. And it's not like she doesn't know. I mean, maybe she doesn't want her to have access to it, but it's not that safe among the towels and stuff. And kids always know where you stash things anyway.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So, how often do you take a bath?
Recently, I literally never.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I haven't had a bath since probably, I would say 18 years. I think I haven't had a bath in 18 years because it's always been a shower.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shower. And so, like, seeing her in the bathtub starting to pass out is kind of cool for the whole, like, Freddy's going to come in from the water so we can have a really cool shot.
But well, it's not just that one that's cool, though. The whole rest of it is really neat, too, because then she's being sucked down and she's, like, trying to keep above the water, and so she's pointing straight up and down, and it's much deeper than the bathtub could possibly be for real. And so it's this weird, unsettling, like, it makes it scarier because it's impossible.
Yes.
And so, like, serious things are happening here.
But at the same time, like, I can't. It's difficult for me to want to side with somebody like that. It's like, oh, I'm falling asleep in the bathtub. Like, why? Like, I'd take a shower and get out. Like, I just do it.
She's trying to relax though, while not trying to fall asleep. But she's been under a lot of stress.
You can't really do both though.
No,
it's like I want to relax. You know, you're gonna get sleepy, but I'm trying to stay awake. But then stop relaxing.
Yeah,
that's the whole point. Jesus.
Well, she does a lot. Like, she seems to be reading at one point on the bed, like laying down, which doesn't seem like a real fine way to stay awake either.
No.
I mean, she has the coffee stash right there.
Pulls it right out from underneath the counter.
There's only so much that caffeine can do.
Yes.
And, like, I can tell you from, like, being up for way too long and in the middle of the night on a security post and having my eyes, like, having a war with my eyes to have them not close while there is a cup of coffee in my hand that is not the first one.
Yes.
Like, there's just nothing you can do when you get to a certain point, with caffeine anyway.
Like, anytime I have to stay up for an extended period of time, like, that's when I get a decent workout in. Because, like, you got to get up. You got to get that blood pumping. You got to get moving. And then it's just like, well, I don't feel as sleepy because I am moving. But if I sit back down and my head goes back, I'm going to pass out. Like, it's going to happen. Okay, so Rod was talking about how he was trying to save Tina. But he doesn't try to actually save Tina. He just kind of hides, or I guess you'd say he falls back into the corner, and then he just raises his arm up, and he's like, Tina! Tina! Now, I can understand that while she is on the ceiling, that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
And you might find it difficult to try to get to her, but she didn't spend the entire time on the ceiling. You know, she started on the bed.
Yeah, well, he does get close, and then gets kind of knocked away because either she kicks him or Freddy does or something, and he gets knocked against the wall, but then he doesn't.
You gotta get that ass back up.
Well, then his story later is he thought maybe it was still a dream, and so he hesitated, but I'm not really sure if that really holds up with what actually happens. That may be the way he remembers it or what he's telling himself now, and he believes his own story, but
it don't matter, he's dead.
Yeah, well, he is dead.
All right, so we get to this portion where I'm not sure if there is any actual part where she is awake, because after the Johnny Depp...
Oh, in the ending part?
Yeah, like after he's dead and the police show up, we know she's supposed to still be awake. She tells her dad from the window to come over in so many minutes, to come get this guy. He doesn't believe her, whatever. She has like the house trapped. She sets a timer, and then she goes to bed, falls asleep, and then she attempts to get him. Now, when it came to pulling the hat through, it was just kind of there, like on her, like right there.
Yeah.
But when Freddy shows up after she, quotations, wakes up, he's not really there as much as he just kind of, ooga booga, and now he's there. Like, were you hiding underneath the bed, man? What is this? And so it kind of makes me wonder, is she still supposed to be asleep because she thinks she's woke up and he's not really there? Or like he's still there, but not in real life there. Like they're still in the dream because she didn't wake up. She just thinks she woke up. Because, time's distorted when you sleep.
Yeah.
Like it could be a couple of minutes in a dream and you wake up and you've already been asleep for like 6-8 hours. So having this time, like, oh, it's supposed to have been 10 minutes. It could have been a whole bunch of minutes. It could have been no minutes. It's all kind of an illusion. And then the reason why I kind of bring this up, like, I don't think she ever woke up. Because whenever Freddy does show up, the continuity from how it's supposed to actually work seems a bit off, but okay. The dad shows up, and then there's like fire footsteps. Like I don't think. Are we playing by dream rules, or are we playing by real life rules? Because that seems a bit odd. There's like nothing in the house is on fire except just the footsteps.
Yeah.
And then it looked like he jumped on the mom, and then. Because you don't see two bodies, you only see one, and then it's just like they rip the covers off, and the body just sinks kind of like into a bed portal thing.
Yeah.
Just like really slowly, and then like the sheets come up, and the sheets are really tight around the bed, and then it's all over with. And the dad ends up leaving, and she closes the door, and she's like, "Freddy, I know you're still there." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm still here. I'm gonna kill you." And then, like, they go through this whole kind of BS business about, like, I'm going to take away your energy because I'm not scared of you anymore. And I'm like, I can kind of understand that. Like, if Freddy gets strength from the fear he causes people, if you ain't scared of him, then what's he really going to do? But how's he showing back up? It's supposed to be real life. It's supposed to be awake. So that don't make no sense.
Well, it's supposed to be awake, but there's a little bit of, like, fuzziness to everything that's never there any other time, and it's daylight, and I think maybe the fuzziness is the daylight version of the fog, because it would make no sense to have it would be too obvious if you had weird mysterious fog during the day. But
well, like I'm still talking about, like, this is still at night. Because, like, that's this.
Well, no. I mean, with the car and everything.
Yeah, like, and like
that's during the. I think that is a dream somehow, but
well,
I'm
like,
not sure whose dream it is.
I don't think she ever woke up. I think, like, once she walked, like, she opened the door and walked through it. I think that's the start of the daytime dream, where it's like, because it's like I said, like, time being distorted and your memories and all this kind of business. It's not like a constant flow of events that you can just track for every moment of. It's like you jump around. And that would kind of explain, like, why the mom doesn't have a hangover and where the mom went when looked like she disappeared on the bed or whatever. Like, there's just little bits and pieces that are like, what is this? What is that? And I'm like, I think she went to bed and just never woke up. Maybe she was killed too. Who knows? Because, like...
Well, no, she can't be killed.
Because, like, Freddy's, like, reaching out of the door to grab the mom, and while the daughter and her friends, whom we know are dead, are like trapped in a Freddy colored car.
Yeah,
that's like possessed.
Well, that part has to be a dream because there are people alive that can't be, but
exactly.
I don't know whose dream it is.
Yeah,
if it is her, I mean,
maybe it's the mom.
If it's hers, she has to still be alive because she couldn't be dreaming dead.
Yeah.
It could be the mom. It could still be her, and it could be a later time, because we don't know. Like, she has no real reason to believe this, like, I don't believe in you anymore thing actually works. It's just, like, a story from, like, he says, like, there are these people that do this, but that doesn't mean that it's real or that it works or that whatever they're dealing with is the same as whatever Freddy is. So just the him disappearing thing, that doesn't mean it's real.
Yeah.
That could just be a thing that he's doing just to continue to screw with her.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if it does work, that doesn't mean that, like, we don't know. She seems to be really convinced that if she can pull him out of the dream, she can do something, but I don't know what that something is, because he already was killed by the parents, and that's how this started. So I don't know what killing him again necessarily is supposed to accomplish, unless you're killing his, like, ghost or something, and so then he can't do whatever it is that he's doing, however it is that he's doing it anyway. I don't really care about much of that, like the how or anything, because this of course follows on from Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, and Friday the 13th. And in all of those cases, there was either there's not really anything special about this person, like with Leatherface. Halloween, Michael is not magic, it doesn't seem, for any, or he has no justifiable reason to be magic, but he seems to be anyway. And so it feels cheating and weird. And then Friday the 13th, maybe Michael Myers is, Michael is not magic in Halloween, but he seems to be. And then Jason is not even in the movie. It's his mom, and she's not magic, but she's still able to do weird stuff like not be seen when she's creeping in the forest. And so then in this, they fix all of that by just having it be some magic we don't understand, and he's magic to begin with.
Dream magic.
Yeah, and so it's just like, okay, fine. He's like haunting the dreams or whatever. And so then it kind of takes away the necessity of rules.
Yeah.
And also makes it easier for it to be actually scary, because we're not distracted by, but wait, how did he do that? Like we are with all of the rest of them. I guess Leatherface doesn't do much but run after people. But
someone like punch him in the nuts.
But so I like the pushing it into like full magic direction. But then they do try to solve she kind of invents her own rules as to how it works. It's like, if I can get him out, then we can do something.
Well, I think
it's
just that hat business.
Yeah, the hat business. Well, all that tells her is that you can bring things each way.
Yeah.
Which it seems like she has some idea maybe you can do anyway, because or she thinks it can go the other way, because she's trapping the house. And it seems like that's for also on the other side in case it comes to that. But I don't know why Dream House would be trapped the same way the real house was. But then she doesn't actually use them until he's out.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the...
If he's out. But if he's not, then things do transfer both ways. Well, I guess it's her dream.
Yeah.
So it's however she thinks of the house is the way that it is.
Exactly. Because I'm like, okay, so if she's trying to pull him out, she's prepping the real world. But if she's still in the dream, wink, wink, then, yeah, like I could see the house still being booby trapped because that's what she's perceiving. But that's where that mystery and the I don't want to call it horror, but the potential for horror is because you don't know what's real and what's not real.
Yeah.
So you don't know where the danger actually lies. Because when you see Freddy in the supposed real world, he's getting his ass beat like it's nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you could like just a box full of hamsters and throw it at him, and he's like, ah, hamsters! Ah! Like that's what it feels like. Like it's like the liquid that she pours on him. Like maybe I guess it's because now his burn scar things hurt because he's in the real world, but she just sprinkled here's like some kerosene or whatever, and that seems to be just as painful as lighting him on fire.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right, yeah, it's okay, kick his ass.
It's a really impressive long guy on fire. Like it's a long body burn.
Yeah, like this dude is on fire for a while,
which is always dangerous.
Yes. We actually had multiple people set up, and we prepared the set so as we move the camera, we can exchange the stunt doubles who were on fire, because it is very hot, and we didn't want anybody being cooked alive.
Well, I don't know necessarily.
And then like the dudes over
that.
there just being like, "Nah, light me on fire, bro. We good."
I mean, anytime they cut, I'm sure it's a separate shot, but just from he's on fire another time. But just from the moment of him being on fire to climbing all the way up the stairs is a long time to have a real person actually on fire. That, I think those are times when it's not actually Robert Englund. I don't know that for sure, but I remember knowing that from some other time. I can't find anything to confirm that right away, but I feel like it's not. The one thing that has never worked for me, because all of the other stuff, the sinking into the bed, the stretching through the wall, like the body bag lifting up with an invisible something that's carrying it off, the getting sucked down into the bathtub, the sheet wrapping around him, all of that stuff works. But the thing that's never worked, and I think they know it doesn't work, I'm pretty sure I've heard them talk about how it doesn't really work, is it's the first thing, really, and it's the long arms across the alleyway thing.
Yeah, it's so silly.
It just looks silly. It's never been scary. It's just always silly.
I kind of wanted him just to be like, "Come on, give Freddy a hug."
It's just like, it's dumb and puppet looking, and there's something wrong with the hands at the end. And it's just silly. Like, and he doesn't it's not like he reaches out for anything. He just uses it to like drag the knives across the side of the thing without actually walking over there. And just to be strange, I guess, in a way that it couldn't happen for real.
Freddy, you're gonna dull the blades if you just scratch it on metal. Stop that. Stop it. Get some help.
Yeah. Well, and something else that is an elevation from the preceding things of this type of movie he has an actually identifiable, unique weapon instead of just, it's a real big knife.
Yeah.
Or it's just an ordinary chainsaw.
Knife hands.
And then like Jason and Michael both just have big knives. They're not even like special big knives or like violent looking big knives. They're just big ordinary knives. And he's got like this thing that he made, and it has like copper pieces and leather, and it's distinctive, and you can just have kind of the silhouette of it and you know who it is, instead of just like, I wonder which of the various slasher characters that exist that has a knife this shadow is from. Which I guess is why that's
only the hand counts, though. If you start showing us the face,
yeah.
then that gives it away, because it's the face, obviously.
Yeah, well, in the face, yeah, it has kind of an uneven sort of shape. And the hat, too, although he wears a couple of different hats. There's the one that she brings back, which is like the fedora one. But he has like a flatter kind of top one at one point in the boiler room. And it's before she takes the hat, so it's not the same. I guess he does have to make them in the dream maybe, too, because she takes his hat, and then he doesn't have it anymore, even in the dream. So it's like he can't just replace it with another imaginary dream hat, it doesn't seem. Because he never wears it again.
That'd be kind of interesting. Like, I'm coming after you, Freddy, and you like bring his hat back to him.
Yeah, I don't know if you can take things the other way. Maybe she does just kind of like throw it down. She knows exactly what drawer the mom put it into.
Yeah, just opens it up, and that's the one.
Mom's like, "There's no hat.
I threw it away,"
and she's just like, "What's this?" Stop it, Mom.
I know where you hide your gin.
Yeah. I mean, she absolutely knows where the gin is if she knows where Freddy's hat is, because it hasn't even been there but for like a minute. And she wasn't there for it. How do we feel about stars?
I'm debating on this one, but I'm going to give it 5. I really like this movie.
Uh-huh.
I've always liked this movie. There's I think it's well made, entertaining. It is actually kind of scary. It is it's a good horror film.
It is.
Except for the yelling and screaming.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what you get.
Yeah.
People scream plenty in non-horror films, even. So when something scary is around, then they're going to for sure.
Tina! Tina! Tina!
Yes, it gets 5. It's very good. It's the only one of these that actually really works for me, because all of the others that have interesting things about them, but then they screw it up somehow, usually with like something major.
Yep.
And they don't, because even though like we're not sure what's real and what's not, is not a negative, it's a positive, because that's the point. You're not supposed to know so that it keeps you on edge all the time. It's a little, the Freddy colored car is a little silly and a little like, hey, look, this is weird.
Oh, we put a big pin on this.
Yeah. It's the biggest pin. It's bigger than his dumb arms. What about scariness?
I'm giving it a 7.
I was gonna give it a 7.
You shut your whore mouth.
I'm still gonna give it a 7.
It gets a 7.
It gets a 7. There are 7 of these movies, not counting the ones that don't count. So,
Jesus. No, now I'm giving it a 7 because there are so few things that actually. I don't like saying they scare me, but they put me in a state of what would be fear.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't like spiders.
State of what would be fear.
Yeah, what would be fear?
The prequel to State of Fear.
Yeah. Like, I don't like spiders, but I don't like spiders that are too close to me.
Uh-huh.
But spiders in general, I don't really have a problem with. Like, I used to have it's not really a pet spider, but he was a pet spider. His name was Anthony, and he stayed outside by the porch light, and he ate mosquitoes. Me and Anthony were cool. And so, like, Anthony being over there, yeah, Anthony's a spider. And yeah, I don't like spiders, but it was over there, and it was fine. It didn't bother me. Yeah. I know you don't
like spiders less than I don't like spiders.
Yeah.
So
And so, like, there's that kind of difference. Now, I kind of have an issue with being able to perceive reality as being real or not real. So it's like, once you get into that where it's like, I can't tell what's real anymore, like, that's when I start kind of freaking out, because, like, knowing what's real helps allow me to make good decisions. And so it's like a mixture of, oh, I can't make good decisions, so I'm going to panic. And then, like, I don't know what's real, so this is already going to be messed up anyways. It's kind of like the Silent Hill thing. Like, Silent Hill, like, I would kind of be on a very, very defensive panic state constantly.
Well, because there's no rules. There's no telling what may happen.
Yeah.
And things are coming to kill you. And they're weird things that don't make any sense.
And so it's like, oh, I can't tell if I'm awake or I'm dreaming because Freddy's after me. It's like, one, Freddy doesn't scare me himself. Like, I would beat the shit out of Freddy. Because it's like, oh, let me cut my fingers off. I would, fuck you, man. Get that weak shit out of here before I have to beat you. And then he'd have to give me a weird look, and I'm like, I'll grab this crowbar and I'll shove it up your ass. And at this point, like, you're not going to scare me. I'll just beat you up because you're not going to get, like, supernatural powers on me at this point. Like, I'm not 12. You're not going to jiggle something and then we'll be like, oh, look, he's got green blood. Like, no, I don't even care at this point. Get away from
he does
me.
That too, yeah.
Like,
he, like,
get that away from me, you disgusting freak. But, like, once the bed starts caving in, like, what is this? Like, once I start falling through the bathtub, what is this? Like, it's those kinds of situations.
Getting drug up the wall onto the ceiling.
Yeah, like, that's the kind of stuff where it's like, I'm not Spider-Man, get me down from here.
Yeah.
Like,
that effect is really good, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the bed exploding with blood, like, that's really cool and effective. I know how they did that one, though. It's an upside down room and they're just pouring it through the bed. I don't actually know how they did the dragging because it's over multiple surfaces, and I don't think they had a room on a gimbal or something. So, because even though they may have pre-imagined elements of Inception, they did not, in fact, make Inception. So they weren't that. I mean, they didn't have enough money to do that anyway. But it's not that level of sets and production.
So it's not Freddy that bothers me. It's like the situations that exist because of Freddy.
Well, and the whole situation by itself is this is on the like it would be scary if it was actually happening to you side.
Yeah.
Which is you have to sleep eventually.
Yeah.
So all he has to do is wait, and eventually you're gonna lose because you have to sleep eventually.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's just like the falling asleep and then being afraid. Like once I know it's him, a lot of that fear is going to dissipate. So it's like he would have to be constant on that being sneaky and surprising and then try to get me in that way. Outside of that, I'm just going to get used to it and then it's going to get boring. Like, piss off, man. But that's why it's like the bed sinking in, the tub. Because like if I'm sitting in class and I pass out and then like I see Tina, you're dead. Go back to the morgue. Shit.
Yeah.
All right. You're getting blood everywhere. Like, I don't want to have to deal with this. I'm not cleaning up your mess, Tina. So I'm sorry, but the Tina effect isn't going to work. I'm sorry. And then I'm thinking of like, Tina, you fat lard. Ugh.
I do like that other people can see it too. They have to be around to see it, but like mom sees the blood fountain.
Yes.
So
like that breach between what's real and what's asleep. Like, no, he's actually dead.
If you're around to see
and
it,
there's all this blood. The noose made of the bed sheets.
Yeah.
You know,
is
like
real.
that.
Yeah.
That crossover, man.
And we've met Wes Craven before on the show. We watched Chiller sometime back. I don't remember exactly when. And it was, I don't remember. Was it last October or was it? I don't think it was because we did it as like a combo with some other movie because we didn't have that much to say.
It Chiller and the Bat?
And the Bat, yeah, that's what. Yeah. And Chiller was not that good. So.
And this is really good.
Yeah,
so we know he has the skills.
Things have improved. I'm assuming that was earlier. I think it was. Oh, it's not. It's after.
Oh, what's crazy?
It's the next year. So
you're gonna have to get
what happened?
Wait.
What happened to Wes Craven?
I don't know. Like,
what happened?
Are we sure he didn't make it first and it just didn't get published? And they're showing us the year that it was actually released.
Well, it was released on television. I'm not sure. There's very little information on it because it's bad and no one cares.
I'm holding out. Like
he made it before, and they just because it is marketed as Wes Craven's Chiller, so it makes sense that it would be after he was famous for something, which he had already done Last House on the Left in the 70s, and so he was famous. But putting this like the next year, they were like, remember the guy that made the Elm Street movie? That was scary. Like, watch this television thing. It'll be scary. It's not, but we at least got you to tune in. So
he only worked on it for like 2 days, and someone else took over.
Maybe.
1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, lock the door. 5, 6, subscribe to We Watch Movies podcast.
That's all I have to say about Nightmare on Elm Street. We'll see you next time.
Later. I couldn't think of anything for like 7 and 8, 9 and 10, so I was just like, fuck it, I'll just leave it there.
Well, I was worried you were gonna do the whole thing, and I was like, I'm running out of music here. Like, stop.